Yo guys, Booma here and welcome back to another Rocket League video. Today's video is why your Rocket League teammates suck. Right, so we're gonna address the most consistent thing about Rocket League over its entire lifetime, and that's every single person thinks their teammates suck, whether it be solo queue or whatever. Most of the time, you know, I get people coming in the chat, and it's been like this for years. And I've seen it in other Rocket League streamers' chats for years, and even in YouTube videos, stuff like that. People just complaining that their teammates suck, and they're hard stuck in a rank because their teammates suck, right? So I want to address the bigger issues and the bigger picture of why this reason actually is, because I feel like a lot of people have the misconception of why people actually quote unquote don't understand the game, right? So I'm going to start with the first thing, and that is, number one, there is no guide to Rocket League. There is nothing in this game that currently teaches players the correct way to play it, right? There is nothing that teaches players rotations. There's nothing that teaches players how to play the cutoff lane, how to play damage control on defense, the correct ways to play counterattacks, whether that be 2v1, 3v2, 3v1, whatever it may be. There's nothing in place to teach players that. As of right now, we currently rely on a community collective of information. So whether it be passed down from professionals who have been playing the game for obviously tens of thousands of hours, and have been playing it for quite many years, as well as higher level players that do the same thing. Right, that's the only information most lower level players can rely on. One of the comedical things to me is the tutorial that Rocket League provides when a new player loads up the game. I think this was added in during free-to-play when Epic Games acquired Psyonix, and it currently is like a live sequence or a cut sequence where you're not even in complete control of the car, and you kind of just have to input a flip. I'm sure you guys all know what I'm talking about. I'm sure everyone's had to play that tutorial at least one time. Maybe none of the Steam OGs had to, but anyway, it currently only teaches players to flip into the ball. And obviously higher players would know, higher level players would know that that is not always the case, because flipping into the ball can also be a detriment, and can actually cause you to throw yourself out of position. So I think it's kind of funny that that's the very first thing the game teaches you. I mean, it makes sense, but then they kind of just throw you into a match with bots. And some people could argue that this is the beauty of Rocket League, right? Not having a sole set way to play this game every single time. And I think that kind of makes it a lot of people's favorite game. But with that being said, there's not really any punishment in place for people who throw games or stuff like that. Obviously, there's a report button and whatnot, but I want to address the fact that somebody's way of playing the game correctly, quote unquote, might not be the same way as somebody else's, right? Because we have this whole collective of information as a community. There are so many videos out there and so many ways people say, like, this is how you should rotate, and this is how you should play twos, this is how you play threes, right? But that's only like advice that has worked for that player, right? It's not the quote unquote correct way to play the game, because there is no correct way to play this game. But with that being said, like, what's preventing me from going into ranked and just driving around taking big boosts like this and never going for the ball? Obviously, you could report a player for match throwing or griefing, but like, I mean, if they eventually just like do this, they touch the ball once and then they go for the boost and they just ball chase all game, right? In somebody's eyes, that could be the players throwing the game. But you don't know, maybe that player just wanted to improve on their speed, so they're forcing themselves to play very fast. This is the type of stuff that I'm talking about. So I want to address the fact that there is not really a structure to how Rocket League is played. To give you guys an example, as I mentioned this in a video before, if you take a look at games like, let's use CSGO, Valorant, and Rainbow Six Siege, for example, right? So obviously there is a attacking side and there is a defensive side. And to sum it up in like the most simple way possible, because obviously there are in-depth roles in between that, right? You have people who play smokes, people who play the fragger slash duelist, people who play support roles, stuff like that, right? But the base understanding of the game is that there is an attacking team who needs to storm a site using util, and the defending team has to prevent them from taking the site, right? And then even if the attacking team, gets the bomb or the spike or the diffuser down, it is then up to the defensive team to play a retake, right? Using their gadgets, abilities, utility, like whatever that may be. There is a very consistent way to play those games, right? So you can tell if somebody is playing like an agent or an operator or not using their utility right, or not playing their role within that team, then you can consider that person to be throwing the game, right? And I feel like there's nothing really like that in Rocket League, right? Because I also want to talk about I'll make a whole video on the stages of learning at some point, but I forget which specific stage of learning it is, but somebody could be completely oblivious to what they are doing wrong and not know what they're doing wrong, so they don't know how to fix it, right? So everyone has to keep in mind, like, if you put yourself in any of your teammates' shoes, like, you don't know if that player is also trying to learn. You don't know if that player is also trying to get better at the game, right? And they might be in a different stage of learning where they don't know what the mistake they made was, correct? And I think it's funny because everyone's been there. I'm not perfect either. I'm not making this video to say, like, I don't ever say my teammates suck, because I'll be the person on stream complaining about my teammates' decision making. But at the same time, not everyone's playing this game to reach the top rank. Some people just, get home from work and they want to sit down and play their favorite game. So some people get home from school and they want to play their favorite game. I feel like people don't really look at it from that POV. You'd rather just sit there and type paragraphs and talk trash to your teammate. I feel like we kind of forget that we're all human beings, and some people just don't treat each other like that on this game, unfortunately. It's a very, very toxic game. So I also want to say why solo queue is difficult for most people. If you don't solo queue a lot, I feel like the real key that I've actually learned, like, playing this game and getting to the rank that I've been to, is you have to solo queue a bunch. And what solo queue does is, even though it sucks, right, it makes you pay a lot more attention to your teammate. Obviously, I don't want you guys... everyone falls in the trap of, like, laser focusing, what their teammate is doing. It's like, oh my god, my teammate's going again. My teammate's taking my boost. My teammate's hitting the ball away. Like, whatever. It happens. Every Rocket League player is going to say those words, right? But at the same time, being put in those positions for years helps you learn what type of player you have to become to play around that type of stuff. So with that being said, I'll kind of try to add stuff into the how to solo queue effectively and, like, strategies you guys can take, but I'll add stuff into that video. But for the sake of solo queuing, sorry, I'm, like, losing my train of thought. I'm, like, ranting because we just got off a long stream and I'm in a long session, so kind of scatterbrained. But you need to be put in those positions for years and deal with those teammates for years. And I was somebody who grinded the game for years, right? I've been playing it for 8 years, almost 9 now. So I've played with almost every type of solo queue teammate imaginable that you could think of. And even today in Rocket League, I sit there and I'm like, there's no way my teammate is going to, like, show me something that I've never seen before, right? And then I get proven wrong. So even I can say there are some players who you genuinely can't, like, carry, and you're just going to have to accept that, right? It's going to be a sucky game. You might get somebody who's not as mechanical as the other team, and they'll play really passive. So I feel like for people who don't have that experience, and if you've always played with, like, a buddy or a friend, right? And then you go solo queue and you just have, like, the worst experience ever. You get somebody shit talking you and, just saying all this shit, and they're not playing very well. It's kind of one of the worst, like, experiences you can get in this game. But that's why I think if you guys are gonna solo queue, just like turn your chat off and really just focus on what you're doing, because it's almost never worth just sitting there arguing with that person. Because like I said, there's so many factors that you have to take into account. I think if Rocket League had more structure, like in how it's played, like this is the correct way to play twos. Like if we got like a bunch of professionals to sit down and talk about each game mode and really go in depth of, you know, how you should be going about playing twos or learning twos and learning threes, playing threes, stuff like that. Everyone knows the basics of threes, right? Like the rotation. You have a first man, a second man, third man, but there's so many intricacies that go into that. Like cutoff lane, knowing when to turn a second man, like first man not full committing every time for stuff. Your third man needs to know like when the right time to chow is, you know, wait for people to get back. Those are things you learn by playing Rocket League, but the game never teaches anybody that. That's what I'm saying. So as the game's gotten a lot more mechanical, right, people can get to like Grand Champ 1, Grand Champ 2, not understand a thing about game sense, but they got to that rank because of their mechanics, right? So I think if everyone takes like a better mindset into solo queue and understands the true reality of why your solo queue teammates suck, you just be better off focusing on what you're doing, and you'll improve way more. And if you want to learn even from solo queue, if you want to put yourself in those spots to learn to deal with those teammates, right? Learn how to play around those teammates. It's going to make you a better player overall, right? Because then if somebody, let's say the entire lobby is solo queue and the other guy is on the other team is struggling with his teammate and he doesn't know how to play around him, you're most likely going to come out of that game on top. So now I'm kind of at the point now where I've been playing this game for so long, I can already tell probably within the first 30 seconds to the first minute of the game what type of teammate I've got and how exactly I need to adjust my play. And I feel like when people don't adapt to their teammates is like another big red flag. And that's kind of when you guys clash, right? And you start typing to each other and whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to make like a short video and bring this to people's like attention, because at the end of the day, it's just part of this video game. I feel like if Psyonix really wanted to do something, like add a better tutorial or get pros together for some type of guidebook, but I highly doubt any of that would happen. So just stop playing the rank, enjoy the game, and best of luck in your solo queue experience. That's the best thing I can say for you guys. It is rough at sometimes, but we all love the same game at the end of the day, right? Anyway, I have a lot more videos planned. This is just a nice little short one. If you guys did enjoy, please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you guys hit that noti bell and join the Discord to stay up to date when I post or go live. And I will see you guys in the next one or on stream. Much love as always. Appreciate you guys so much. And peace.